Hey, Strong Long fans. I had to, the reason why I'm doing this video right now is because I got company coming over and it's really fun company, really good kind, and I want to make this video before they arrive. I don't know if there's a lot of time left, so I better do this fast. Also, an ice cream truck just drove in front of my house. Well, it was actually a bus turned into an ice cream truck, which was actually really something people just does, you know. Pretty cool. It's driving very slow. I mean, that's what ice cream trucks do, you know. But anyway, let's think more. I need to concentrate on this this video I'm making. So yeah, what you can see right now is a ship. It's a futuristic type of cargo ship. It's got 6 chimneys, 4 on each side, and we got 2 on the roof. They're really tall. And we got another cargo ship. It has 2 chimneys on the roof and a flag in between those 2 chimneys, and there's a flag on the edge of it. It's probably another cargo ship. I would say this is another cargo ship. And we got this ship. I'm not sure. Maybe it could be some sort of like special passenger ship, or I'm not sure what kinds of ships there are. I can think of what kind of ship I want it to be. Maybe the first 2 I showed you. The first one I showed you probably should be a container carrier, and the second one I showed you, maybe it should be an oil tanker. And this one, maybe it should be a special type of bulk carrier. It's a futuristic bulk carrier. It's got 4 chimneys. And this one, maybe it should be a futuristic cattle carrier. And this one, maybe another type of futuristic cattle carrier. Maybe, I wonder if we should probably give it names. Maybe the first one should be called it's called a Class A. You know how like there's Class A motorhomes and Class B motorhomes and Class C. Maybe I could do like Class A cattle carriers, and this is a Class B cattle carrier. Or maybe this should be the Class A, and the one I showed you before should be the Class B. And this one should probably be a ro-ro vessel, I think. That's what I think it should be. Maybe a ro-ro vessel, futuristic one. And we got a submarine. This is a pretty cool submarine. This one's a military submarine. And we got a passenger submarine. This one's a passenger submarine. And we got a cruise ship. And we got another cruise ship. And the first one, and I should also do Class A and Class B cruise ships since there's 2 of them. The first one I showed you is a Class A, and this bigger one's a Class B. And we got a battleship. Really cool. And another battleship, which, yeah, and we're gonna have to do Class A and Class B for the battleships. Maybe Class A should be the smaller, and the Class B should be the bigger. So maybe for the first 2, so yeah, maybe the cattle carriers, which, yeah, this one and this one that I showed you before, maybe this one should be the Class A cattle carrier, this one should be the Class B cattle carrier. And now we got airplanes. They're all passenger airplanes. Well, this one's a passenger airplane. This one's a jet carrier. I should have put in windows. Or maybe it should be some sort of futuristic fighter jet. Or no, it's probably just should be a jet carrier. I just didn't put windows on it. Now this one's a fighter jet. This one is a fighter jet I made up. You see, it's got 3 tails instead of just 2, like 1 or 2. See? A 3-tailed fighter jet. You know, sometimes fighter jets have 2 tails, sometimes they just have 1. But this one has 3, and there's the little guns, whatever they're called. The ones that goes, yeah, those ones. And we got these airplanes. Now the ones that has fire, they're all like jets, but they're passenger airplanes. But they're like futuristic style. And these right here, these are airships. They're called zeppelins. This one's This one, they're called War Zeppelins. Yeah. War Zeppelins. Yeah. Well, these two are actually military carrier airplanes. And they're really futuristic. And we got trains. And these, now, yeah, these, beside trains, you know, FT, it stands for freight train, and ST, it stands for steam train, and the PT stands for passenger train. That's what those words were there for. And yeah, we see that this train right here has, like, the little horns, the chimneys on top. Same with this one. It's got, like, the little chimneys, kind of makes them look like ears. Pretty cool. And we got this giant machine. It's like the Bagger 288, except it's a really futuristic version of the Bagger 288. It's actually called, I heard there was another Bagger, not just the Bagger 288. This is the Bagger 8000, or maybe the Bagger 822. We'll call it the Bagger 822 for now. If I come up with a better name for it, then I can name it something else if I want to, you know. But if I mean, only if I come up with any other better name. Any name I think is better for it, I will name it that. But for now, I'll just call it the Bagger 822, since it's a newer version. And we got buildings. These are giant, these are all sorts of billboards. Yeah, all sorts of futuristic billboards. We also have normal billboards. We got these billboards, these like animated billboards. We got really big ones, like big towers that are billboards. We call them monitor towers. They're called monitor towers because they have a monitor on them. Or I don't know if I can say that word right, actually. Oh well, it'll be okay. They're monitor towers. That's what we call the billboards. Like, well, they're like animated billboards. You know how like Japan, like Tokyo has those kinds of things. Yeah, Strong Lungs is kind of like Tokyo, but it's more American than Tokyo-ish. Yeah. And we got radar towers, but we also got this kind of radar tower. It's like a giant satellite at the top. And we got these two really big radar towers. This one has an antenna on top. It's a really cool kind. And these are oil towers. And the reason why they all have lights on them, like every oil tower is required to have a light. And the reason why is because they have oil in them. And the Strong Lung says if an aircraft crashes into them, there's a good chance they'll explode. A very good chance they'll explode. And you know what happens when oil catches on fire? It's really, really hard to put out. That's what I heard. It's really hard to put out. And I was told that water can't put out fire if it's oil. Or, yeah, I think that's the truth. Like, if it's oil fire, I don't think water can possibly work. So yeah, moving on, we got beacons. They're beacon towers. And I know they are kind of like lighthouses, but most of these Strong Lungs beacon towers would mostly be like for airports, but Strong Lungs don't just use them at like the airports, but sometimes they're also at like the harbors, like a lighthouse sometimes. But you know how like there's like these big harbors with like where the container ships pull in? Yeah, like yeah, they use those. Those are really cool. Yeah, now that's what they use sometimes, because sometimes they use a lighthouse there, which is cool. Yeah, you can see one has a flag on it, and one doesn't. Because like the one that has an outside beacon, one where you can see the light that spins, and you can see it spinning outside. And Strong Lungs has a lot of those. Sometimes they're in like big, like in cities. It's just sometimes it's to prevent airplanes from like crashing. Well, not like airplanes crashing. Yeah, they use them at the airport to signal airplanes. Sometimes they put beacons on their airport control towers, but they do use like beacon towers to like at least guide the aircrafts. Sometimes, we also have railroad beacons, which I'm about to show pretty soon. I could show them to you right now. And here it is, the level crossing beacon. You know, it lights up red and it spins whenever a train is coming. That's what they use sometimes. And well, those are actually on like the like eastern part of Strong Lungs. Sometimes the Strong Lungs have like the normal like level crossing symbols, like the normal kind. But on the western or eastern, I meant the eastern part of Strong Lungs, that's the part that has the beacon version. So yeah, the beacon version is on the eastern side of Strong Lungs. The normal version is on the western part, yeah, or like maybe like in the center, like the middle part, but like yeah, the middle and western part of Strong Lungs. But the beacons are in the eastern part of Strong Lungs, yeah. The more like yeah, they're on like the eastern parts of Strong Lungs. But yeah, let's move on to the next thing. Oh, and before we do, I just want to say beacon towers, the reason why they're placed downtown is to show people where there's a city. It's to show people where there's a city. It's to, or like a small town. Like, you know how I can't see small towns from a distance unless you can see like maybe like a tower, you know, like either a water tower or a cell tower that, well, maybe, I don't know, like if you've seen it, maybe there's something that shows you, yeah, something like that, or there's like a tall building, yeah. But for Strong Lungs, when there's no tower to be seen, they put a beacon tower. And the beacon towers to show people where there's a city. I'm actually gonna show you another one I have. So here it is. The really tall beacon tower. Now, yeah, they're this tall so they can tower above the trees. But now the reason why they don't need a light, because the beacon on top is a light. And so aircrafts, they don't need to worry too much. But we don't want to make them too bright. But at least the aircrafts can see the tower. But yeah, because they may put lights on like maybe in the middle of the tower, like the middle of the structure, but honestly, maybe it's just, but the top doesn't really need but a light. Well, not like a strobe or red light. Like, I mean, the beacon is the light. We all know the beacon's a light. So, like, why would you want to put a strobe on top? Because there's already a light on the tower. It's a beacon. So I mean, you can probably put the little like red lights on like in the middle of the tower just to be safe. Yeah, I guess that would be something to be more safe. So yeah, now let's move on to the next tower. This is a horn tower. They have a horn. It's a foghorn. Now you're probably asking why Strong Lungs has these. These aren't only near harbors. Sometimes they put these in there, like in any part, even if it's not near the coast. They don't just put it near the coast, because they don't only use like foghorn towers. there's also like storm horn towers. They go off when there's storms. Like when there's like a storm nearby. Like sometimes like when somebody sees like lightning in the distance, that's when they fire the horn on the tower. That's when the tower operates. Yeah. I know for the foghorn towers they operate when it's foggy, but for the storm horns they operate when there's a storm nearby, like when there's a storm coming. We all know that. And now, well, I might want to talk a little bit more about this tower. But yeah, the tower I'm talking about right now, the horn tower. There's also, yeah, or maybe I shouldn't have said there's also, because really I think there's only the foghorn and storm horn. Yeah, the foghorns are for the fog, the storm horns are for storms. So the foghorn towers goes off when it's a foggy day, and the storm horn towers, they operate during like stormy weather, when it's a stormy day or when there's a storm approach, and they operate when a storm's approaching. It's to warn people that there's a storm. It's just to signal everybody. Make sure, it's just to let them know that there's a storm. Now we can move on to the next tower. They're called gas towers, and they have lights on them as well. And the reason why they have lights is the same reason the oil towers have lights on them, except they have gas rather than oil. But you don't want an explosion to happen when an airplane crashes into it. Because even though they're the size of a water tower, doesn't mean they have to have a light on them. Because they have an explosive chemical in them, so they don't want airplanes crashing into them and causing an explosion. Even though a gas fire is much easier to put out. But still, we don't want this particular situation going on. We don't want like a big explosion, because remember the Beirut explosion? That one was terrible. That one caused a lot of chaos. And we don't want that same situation going on in Strong Lungs. Do we? No, we do not. Now let's move on to the next tower. And these are propane towers. Now, mostly propane towers just have red lights on them. They don't put sometimes they have white strobes, but more commonly they would just have these red lights on them. You know, they just fade in and out, or they just go on and off. Yeah, but these ones store propane, and yeah, propane is explosive, and pretty much we don't want an airplane crashing into a propane tower. I don't know how far a propane explosion can go. Maybe it depends on how much propane there is. And since there's a lot of propane, there's that reason why there has to be a light. And moving on to the next tower. The hydrogen towers. Okay. Now there's only one with a light on it. Because usually the reason why only one has a light on it is because sometimes Strong Lungs, they don't really make hydrogen towers. They don't make them tower that high. They don't unless they're near an airport. Yeah. In Strong Lungs, hydrogen towers aren't really built that tall. They're usually built the size of these little maybe these. Maybe they just when they're nowhere near an airport. Because in Strong Lungs they say that they don't put lights on hydrogen towers, because even though hydrogen is explosive, they don't put lights on them unless they're near an airport. They only put lights on hydrogen towers if they're like near an airport. They may only put lights on them if they're like in a big city, because airplanes do fly over big cities, like somewhere like near a hospital or an airport. They would put, and there's a hydrogen tower nearby, and that's when they have to put a light on it. You know what I mean? So yeah. Okay, these towers, now the tower in the middle is a station tower. These Oh, those towers. Oh, those are like, those are, I would say those are like mostly on like the bases. Those are like where, like, I don't know. Those are maybe like watchtowers. Those are like, maybe like special kind of watchtower. Yeah, they're like special kinds of watchtowers you find in strong lungs. Those are they're like really special kinds of watchtowers. And the two towers that it's in between, those are Wi-Fi towers. So like in case, like when the power goes out, they strong lung still has Wi-Fi. Yeah, they don't, because we all know, because in strong lungs, Wi-Fi runs on those towers, and that's what prevents Wi-Fi from going out when the power goes out, especially during storms and such. They're actually meant to be storm-proof towers, but it obviously doesn't always work, because sometimes those towers actually get struck by lightning sometimes, and they stop working. And that's when the strong lungs has to hook up to another. But the good thing is they can hook up to another. They have Wi-Fi towers are everywhere in strong lungs. They put them like in a lot of places. The reason why they do that is because strong lungs, they need them because they need that many towers because they have to so everyone has Wi-Fi. Now those are really special kinds of towers. Strong lungs needs those kinds of towers. There's also a third kind that I haven't finished. I'm going to work on it right now. Now this is a really, really tall Wi-Fi tower. And Wi-Fi towers do not have three sides. Like, like the support, they actually have they're like four-legged communications towers. They're not like, how like most towers have like this have 3 legs. Well, these kinds actually have 4. And Strong Lung says that 4 legs are more supportive than 3. Yeah, and most of them really are self-support towers, which are called lattice towers a lot. And yeah, they're really, and this kind is really tall. But Strong Lung should be careful because it might end up getting struck by lightning. You gotta be careful with that there, Now, Strong Lungs also have fancy kinds of transmissions towers. They call them power line towers. We got this kind, which kind of looks like a fork, and we got this kind, which kind of looks like one of those spheroid water towers. Now, the reason why they look like this is because Strong Lungs think they're really fancy. But the Strong Lungs also have the normal kind of transmissions towers as well. Also, there's one more I have to make. And they look like this. Yeah, it's kind of like a giant column, like with a sphere on top. Actually, maybe I should make it this way instead. Or actually, I think that version, maybe if it's okay if it looks like that. See, or I prefer maybe it shouldn't be like those pillars. Yeah, it's not a water tower at all. It's like a giant, it looks like a pillar but with a giant sphere at the top. Honestly, yeah, I really want to just change it. There we go. Yeah, maybe they should look like this instead. I think this is a better design. So yeah, this is what the towers look like. And also there's 2 more antennas that holds, or whatever it's called, that holds the power lines. And moving on to the next thing. So yeah, Strong Lungs, they have wind turbines. And not just normal wind turbines, but they also have airborne wind turbines. And some are actually really big. Well, actually, yeah, they do. well, here's actually the kind they do have, like, this big kind, and they have, like, the smaller kind. They got this kind, or maybe not really. They only have, I don't think I really want this kind to be in the show, the one with the rainbow around it. I'm sure you think that's cool, but I'm really sorry because I don't think it's really that good. But yeah, but I'll use this kind and these kinds, so don't worry. But yeah, and look, our jet friends are in our battle airships. They're also in the picture. I mean, I guess this kind would be okay to use, but I don't really like it so much. But yeah, Stronglungs have airborne wind turbines. And yeah, just like China. China has airborne wind turbines. They have actually a lot of them. Yep, Stronglungs have the exact same kinds of wind turbines as China. And, oh, sorry, showed you the wrong version, but yeah. And on the western part of Stronglungs, airborne wind turbines have gondolas, like blimps. Yeah. In Stronglungs, in the western part of Stronglungs, they have gondolas, like blimps. So yeah, because sometimes some Stronglungs, but the gondola airborne wind turbines are in the western part. So yeah, the western part of Stronglungs has the gondola airborne wind turbines, and the rest of Stronglungs do not have gondola. They have airborne wind turbines, but not with gondolas. But yeah, there are airborne wind turbines everywhere in Stronglungs. And that's how they live. And that just about wraps it up.